Imagine Istanbul under 3 feet of water, or the ground shaking beneath its oldest neighborhoods. Streets swallowed, homes collapsing and hospitals cut off. One earthquake, one landslide, one storm. And parts of the city could vanish overnight. The city just got a massive 615 million resilience package to stop this from happening. And today we will see how Istanbul is going to use this to prevent the worst from happening, and if it is going to be enough. Istanbul sits on a major fault line where tectonic plates meet and is built on soft soils, with dense neighborhoods layered across hills and coasts. A single earthquake could destroy thousands of homes. Because of the mountains here, heavy rain turns streets into rivers, and landslides threaten hillside communities. Critical infrastructure, hospitals, schools and bridges are vulnerable. Every storm, every earthquake isn't just a statistic. It can block hospitals, cut power, and disrupt a city that produces nearly 20% of Turkey's GDP. Istanbul isn't just beautiful, it's a city on the edge. Earthquakes, floods, landslides. It threatens millions of people and critical infrastructure. But the city isn't waiting. A $615 million resilience package is on the way, and it's trying to tackle these risks head on. Their buildings, hospitals, schools and bridges are decades old and quake prone. Reinforced walls, stronger foundations and seismic isolation might not be glamorous, but they could save thousands of lives. Imagine an earthquake hitting. Retrofitted schools will stay standing, while unreinforced buildings crumble. That difference is measured in lives. And for the floods, the streets in Istanbul can turn into rivers overnight. Their plan installs embankments and upgrades drainage, and they are going to add bioswales to guide the water safely. But some hillside and informal communities will remain unguarded, meaning floods will still hit some areas hard. And when disaster is imminent, they have sensors, alarms, networks. Istanbul's early warning system buys crucial minutes, if people act fast. That's why drills and training are just as important as the tech. A well-timed alert can move thousands out of harm's way before disaster strikes. Finally, resilience isn't just about these buildings. It's about the people. Local volunteers and small business support and neighborhood networks ensure the city can bounce back faster after disaster. When the next quake or flood hits, prepared communities don't just survive, they recover faster. Istanbul is home to 16 million people, built along steep hills, facing earthquakes, floods and landslides, and now storms that are growing stronger and more unpredictable with climate change. This $615 million plan aims to protect the city, but can it really cover all these dangers? The plan we just talked about covers critical buildings, hospitals, schools, emergency centers, upgrading them to withstand shocks. Retrofitted schools sway but stand firm. Upgraded hospitals continue operating. But Istanbul has hundreds of thousands of older buildings, narrow streets and informal neighborhoods. Many will remain vulnerable, and even with the money available, execution is challenging. Procurement delays, slow retrofits and maintenance gaps mean some areas remain exposed when hazard strikes. And climate change is intensifying floods and storms, creating hazards that the city must face faster than the construction can keep up. That's why these physical upgrades are only part of the solution. Early warning systems, evacuation routes and community preparedness vary widely across the city. Some neighborhoods will remain exposed because alerts don't reach everyone. Roads floods or local emergency response is limited. This multi-million-dollar plan strengthens Istanbul in critical ways, but gaps will remain. Understanding where these vulnerabilities lie, from older buildings to climate hazards and even unpreparedness, is the first step. So let us explore a three-step lens to help cities prioritize actions, protect lives, and build real resilience. Let's step into the shoes of a city planner for a moment. You've got millions of people, hundreds of thousands of buildings, hills that can slide, streets that flood, and a budget that can't cover everything. How do you decide what to tackle first? Well, here's a simple three-step lens that can guide any city facing complex hazards. And it starts with understanding the risks. Which dangers are most likely and which will hurt the most? In Istanbul, earthquakes threaten entire districts, while floods strike fast but more locally. Mapping these risks isn't abstract. It tells you where to focus your attention and resources. Step 2. Infrastructure readiness. Which facilities must keep running during a disaster? Retrofitted hospitals and schools aren't just concrete and steel, they are lifelines. Knowing which assets can survive helps planners decide where reinforcements matter most. And step 3. Institutional capacity. Who can act quickly when disaster strikes? Early warning alerts, trained rescue teams, and strong coordination networks can turn minutes into saved lives. Without people ready to respond, even the best buildings won't stop a disaster from becoming a catastrophe. Apply together these 3 steps: understanding hazards, shoring up critical infrastructure, and strengthening institutional capacity create a lens for resilient cities. But other cities have used similar strategies. So let us see which lessons we and Istanbul can learn from these cities to truly outsmart disasters. Take Tokyo, sitting in one of the most active fault lines in the world. Japan has invested in strict building codes, early warning systems and citywide drills. When the 2011 Tohoku quake hit, much of Tokyo's infrastructure held. Hospitals stayed operational. Evacuation plans worked as rehearsed. From Tokyo we learn engineering alone isn't enough. Preparation and practice are just as important. And in Rotterdam, a city below sea level, they have turned flood management into an art. Storm barriers, canals and flexible urban planning mean that even extreme rainfall is managed without major disruption. The lesson here is that investing in infrastructure is critical. But you're going to need a citywide vision that accounts for natural behavior, like water flow, and adapts as these conditions change. And Venice shows us the challenge of protecting history. Rising seas threaten century-old buildings. Temporary barriers help, but long-term resilience requires balancing engineering, funding and community engagement. Cultural heritage isn't just an aesthetic, it's part of why people stay, work and invest in a city. For Istanbul, the lesson is clear. It's not enough to retrofit a handful of schools or to install sensors. You need integrated solutions, combining engineering, early warning systems, city planning and community engagement. Applied thoughtfully, these lessons show us a path towards a city that doesn't just survive hazards. It can adapt, recover and thrive. After all the retrofits, sensors and drills, Istanbul's resilience will ultimately depend on its people. Communities organizing flood response, volunteers clearing blocked streets, and local teams running evacuation drills. These actions save lives every day. The city's $615 million plan, combined with the determination of its people, shows what's possible when engineering, planning and community action combine together. Their effort to protect Istanbul should inspire us all to build a more resilient, future-proof tomorrow. Because together, we can engineer a sustainable tomorrow. Thank you for watching and I will see you in the next video.